Welcome, your reach review time with Imperial, and today's review will be Ambulance. Let's get into it. So subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's go over the cast. Jay Gyllenhaal plays as Danny Sharp. Yahya Abdul Mateen II plays as Will Sharp. Itza Gonzalez plays the EMT Cam. Garrett Dillahunt plays as Captain Monroe. A. Martinez plays as Poppy. Keir O'Donnell plays as Anson Clark. And Wale plays as Castro. So Wale had a short role in here. But it was cool just to see him in the film. Shout out to him making moves. But I will say that this movie came out in, about 3 months ago, around February. And it's a Universal Pictures film. And Universal Pictures, if you didn't know, is connected to Peacock streaming app. And now it's available on Peacock. So Peacock is doing the necessary to build their streaming platform up, and they're getting the content pushing, and it's going to bring the traffic to the Peacock streaming app, where more and more people are going to start to subscribe. And right at a time where Netflix is losing subscribers. So even though Netflix is still king, but it is an open market to try to find your place in the streaming world. Nevertheless, let's get to the movie. So what you have going on, you have Will, who is was in the service, and he was a Marine, came home, can't find a job, down on his luck, had a newborn, his wife is sick. His wife needs about 230 grand to do an experiment surgery because his benefits won't cover it because it's an experimental surgery. So he's down on his luck, can't find a job. So he tells her pretty much, hey, I'm going out for a job and I think I might get it. Meanwhile, she knows his brother, Danny, is always up to no good and she wants him to stay away from him. So he's on his way to meet Danny, but she doesn't know this. So this movie it jumps right into it. This dialogue that I'm give you, it's real fast. It's probably like the first 10-15 minutes. After that, it get busy. So he meets up with Danny. Danny's at his cover of a job where Wale is there as like the guy that greets people when they come in. So you think they just paint or do whatever they do at this little business front, but really they do heists and stuff. So he comes in and asks Danny for the money. Danny pretty much said, I don't have the money. All my money's tied up. But you need, how much you need? 231,000. He said, how about more? So he pretty much tell him, I got a heist going on. It's $32 million. Nobody's supposed to get hurt. And we're supposed to be in and out. Clean break. So they're going to rob a bank that's right by a police station. Bad news. Bad news. So instantly, Will is going back and forth with Danny, basically like, nah, you shouldn't do this. He pretty much like, man, what else you gonna do? You know, you fought for this country and everything, and then you know, you don't have nothing. And so Will pretty much, for the sake of his wife, he get on board. But he instantly see that the group of guys, goons that's in this height, they all got different things going on, and it's a disaster waiting to happen. So nevertheless, it goes to the EMT Cam. She's a good paramedic, and she her mission is to save people and get them to the hospital, and that's what she's determined to do. But she don't work well with others, and you find out later that she was in med school, but she fumbled the ball. That's what led her to the EMT, and she never had no partners. She always get replacements. So this is showing how she comes in with the ambulance situation. Then you have another rookie cop and a veteran cop, and they're on their way off somewhere else. But this rookie cop likes the girl at the bank, and a veteran cop, nah, you gonna go back and talk to her. So he's making a U-turn, beelining back to the um, bank. Meanwhile, Danny and the crew is already in the bank, got everybody frisked. So it don't show you them entering into. It shows you them entering into the bank, but it doesn't show you when how they frisk everybody. The cop shows up to the bank. Danny answers like the bank manager, pretty much like, "Hey, I need to open an account." Really, Danny at that moment should have shut him down and say, "This we can't have nobody in here doing whatever, whatever. You know, if it ain't an emergency, whatever." But he's talking about I need to open an account. It will open it back up in 20 minutes. So nevertheless, Danny let him in. So right off the back, Danny don't want to hurt anybody. So he lets the cop in, and he wanted to get the cop a teller, and he said, "No, I want that woman over there." And he said, "What's her name?" So he's trying to get Danny to look him out. And he said Kim, and he said Kim Port. He threw her off, and so instantly he went up talking to her, and then she was kind of frantic, and he was like, "Yeah, I just wanted to." He's fumbling his words, and then when he looked over, her name said Kim Daniels, so he knew something was off, and he said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And right when then that's when Danny pulled a gun on him, and it trail went from there. Meanwhile, you had a guy outside, one of the goons, in an armored truck that was raggedy. So it clunked out. The veteran cop that was outside, got out and helped him to fix get the car running. But that was a distraction. So now while this is going on, keep in mind it's cops outside of this, right next to a police station. So everything goes to crap. Goons, a big shootout, and everything started to happen where they see them guns pointed at the hostages through the bank mirror, and then shootouts start to occur. Basically, at this point, not to give step by step, all the goons got shot. Meanwhile, Will and Danny both carrying $8 million apiece on them. The other, two other bags of $8 million was with the other goons. Will and Danny got the cop. They headed out. They get into an argument, and the cop decided to attack Danny. When he decided to do that, Will jumped in and then shot the cop. So at first they left him there. As they tried to bail, by this time, all the goons is getting killed. The cops is a big shootout. No cops is harmed at this time, but that one cop that Will shot. Meanwhile, the ambulance heard everything and proceeded in the parking lot. When they proceeded in the parking lot, they grabbed the cop. Grabbed the cop. The veteran partner came and checked him, and then the EMT pretty much told him, "You need to calm down, worry about getting other people," because the cop told him, basically, they're still here. So Cam got him working on him in the back of the ambulance truck, and her partner was driving. Meanwhile, Danny popped out with the gun, told him stop, pulled him out, clunked him on the head with the gun, and pretty much Will took over, grabbed the EMT jacket, and Danny held the Cam in the back hostage. Now it was cops waiting for them out, but Cam held it down and allowed them to release. Meanwhile, the veteran cop found the EMT partner that got knocked out. Pretty much found him on the ground, and now that's what sparked. He knew that his partner was in the ambulance, and now this is where it starts the big chase, and they following Will and everybody. And so the plan that they had, they didn't have a real true plan. They had another vehicle that was supposed to be somewhere, but they didn't expect this to go the way it went. So what happened was Danny called a favor into a guy named Poppy, who's in the town of LA, and he runs his own street cover enterprise, and pretty much he want them to create a diversion, and so they're creating this low rider with a dummy, and they got like a big machine gun, saw type machine gun inside the car that'll be a diversion. They also going to meet down where it's an area where a bunch of ambulance cars are, and which will allow a bunch of ambulance go different ways. They're going to paint their ambulance car all green, and then while everybody's chasing the ambulance cars, what they're going to do is speed off in their ambulance car. So through the most of the film is the car chase. You meet Captain Monroe, Garrett Dillenhall. Now Garrett Dillenhall was on the show Fear of the Walking Dead, and I've been seeing him in a couple shows now, a couple movies now since he left that show or whatever. So he's starting to make his way playing cop roles. He was a cop in Fear the Dead as well. Anybody that tunes into Fear the Dead on AMC. Now, his character comes in and he works for SMS and SIS rather, and he's on a hunt. He's talking to Danny on the phone. They know who Danny is. They don't know who Will is at the time, but they know Danny's track record. They know his dad was a bank robber for years, but his dad was more psychotic. The dad would kill people. He would leave no witnesses, hostages, and cops. But Danny wasn't like that. He took we just could do this clean road or whatever. So, but they knew his track record. In walks Agent Clark, and his name Anson Clark. He worked for the FBI. He gave the backstory to Danny where the dad had Danny go to school to learn all the tricks of FBI, and once he learned all the tricks, he left. He never finished. So he just went to school basically to learn how they do everything, so he could be good at what he do. So through this process, the cop is bleeding out, and they had to do emergency surgery on him. So then Will jumped back there and helped save the cop's life, and he developed a bond with Cam, the EMT. And so when all this is going down, when he developed that bond, he got a chance to she found out that he had a wife and she was sick and everything like that, and the reason he was doing all this. So when everything, the diversion and all that happened with Poppy and his crew, Danny told Poppy, I would give you $8 million. In the process of that, everything went good, but what happened was Poppy's son, Roberto, when he did the diversion, the veteran cop that was always lurking to get his partner, he seen Roberto. Him and Roberto got out in a fight, and Roberto got his head blown off. Poppy seen his son dead, so Poppy, when they got away clean, but now they had the EMT truck and Poppy's enterprise, and they could walk away clean. But what happened is they knew that Poppy and them was upset that Roberto died, and he seen his son get killed by the cops. He wanted to kill the Cam and the cop in the process. So Will and Danny didn't let it happen. They pretty much shot everybody up in the place, and they broke loose. But what happened was the cop that did surgery on, he was still alive, and he had a gun. His partner put a gun underneath his leg, and he had a gun, and he pretty much convinced Cam that we're going to die regardless. If anybody open that door, just shoot. And so what happened is Will went to go open the door. As soon as he opened the door, she shot him. So then it was a big situation with that. Nevertheless, Danny jumped in a car, sped off, and he ended up breaking loose. And now Will is losing blood, and they get to the hospital, and it's the last standoff, pretty much. And Will had promised Cam that he was gonna make sure she lived. And so it was a standoff where what I skipped was when one of those diversions with that lowrider, and it was like a mannequin inside the seat, and that saw was spreading, hitting all the cops. Captain Monroe got killed when he did that. So they was vicious. That the theatrics for the shooting and the scenes and all that Michael Bay did a good job with bringing all that to life right there. But nevertheless, so FBI agent Clark, he took over, and so he was trying to tell Danny like give it up, and so Danny was pissed, basically like Will's dead, so he ready to go all out now. He like, I'm gonna kill Cam. So what happened was Will was still conscious. He took the gun that the cop had and he shot his brother Danny. Danny came out, took the bullet, and it just the whole movie was flashbacking when they were kids and stuff, and it showed a moment where they used to play cops and robbers, and pretty much Will was the cop and Danny was the robber, and then Will was on the ground. And so before Will had passed out in the EMT, he put some money into a bag and told Cam give it to his wife and tell her that he saw her. And she pretty much like, tell her yourself, but he like give it to her, you know. So basically they locked both Will and Danny up, and Danny pretty much was like, I'm sorry, Will, and then he died. But Will didn't die because he took a shoulder wound, so he was losing blood, but he lived. So they had him locked up, and so they asked the cop who shot him, and then the way the camera looked, he pointed saying basically Will saved his life so that they could give Will some type of grace. Meanwhile, Cam gave the money to the wife, and that's pretty much how it ended. Overall, decent film. It was a decent watch. I'm gonna give this out of my 4-star rating system. I'm gonna give this movie a 3 out of 4 stars. It was a decent film. I don't think it went straight to it. Not too much dialogue. The dialogue came within the action, but it wasn't like no build up. It went straight to it. So how could you knock a movie like that? 3 out of 4 stars. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. Till next time.